Good morning, everyone. It is Barb Teckle. It is the week of August 17th, and I have another oracle reading for you this week that I hope will be helpful as you move through this third week in August. It's hard to believe we are starting to wind down the summer. I love summer, but I have to be honest, fall is my favorite. I've been so happy these last 2 weeks getting up in the morning where the mornings are cooler and then it warms up during the day and then it cools down again at night. To me, if I had to describe what I hope heaven would be like, this would be it. So I pulled some cards for us this week, and I hope they will be of benefit and they'll help you as you go through the week, and they'll be great reminders for you. So the first deck that I worked with is called the Oracle of Seven Energies by Colette Baron-Reid. It's a new deck that she just came out with, and I have to say I really love this deck. So the card that I pulled for all of us this week is the Land Between. I just think this card is so beautiful. I wanted to crawl right into the card when I looked at the image. So I took some notes here, and I'm going to look at those as I'm sharing the reading with you. But the first thing that I heard was and saw when I looked at this card was the middle ground. Those are the words I heard, was the middle ground. And then I also was looking at this as a split. And within the split, how can we come to a place of common ground? Because whether you're on this side of the land or you're on this side of the land, I believe in my heart that we're all trying to get to this middle ground. And I believe both this side and that side all want the same thing. All want the same thing. So when I looked at that piece of land floating in the middle, I see that as asking us to take the higher view, to do the work that we need to do to get to that higher view together. And this in-between place, which we can also call transition, which obviously our world is in a big space of transition right now. And that can feel uncomfortable. But I think we have all learned, I know I certainly have, though I have to be reminded, that within that space in between, within that transition, is where those nuggets of wisdom are just waiting for us to discover. So this is not a bad place to be. This is a really good place to be. So no matter what, when you find clarity here, you can either go to this side of the land and it goes here, or this side of the land and that path and that bridge goes to here. It's all common ground, right? I hope that's making sense. It's making sense in my head, so I hope it's making sense to you. But being in the space in between is what helps us get to the next place of clarity that we all need to get to. So the other card that I pulled, and I actually I didn't pull this card when I'm going to share this card in a little bit. When I flipped the deck over to set it down, the card on the bottom, I thought, oh, that goes with this message. So I'll share that in just a minute. But I did pull, I have an itchy lip here for some reason. So I pulled an animal card because I love bringing in the wisdom of animals as well, as you all know if you've been listening to my readings every week. And this one, I have come to really appreciate, respect, and love this animal. I know a lot of people wince when they see this animal, so bear with me, and I'm going to hopefully bring you to a better place of understanding this creature. So it is the vulture. On the bottom, it says nothing is wasted. So we all know the vulture is about cleaning things up, right? How perfect that is to go with the land between, because in this space in between, we're being asked to clean things up to get us to this higher perspective and this new space that we all want to move toward. So when I just have to share a little story about vulture, because I used to be, when I would see one, or I'd see one flying in the sky, or I'd see them on the side of the road, the cleanup crew doing their job, I wouldn't look at them because I perceived them as ugly and icky and gross, whatever words you want to use. And then I think that was, you know what, time has been going so fast, it seems. I think it was last fall, or maybe it was the fall before. My husband and I went on a camping trip to Michigan, and we went to a wildlife center there. And they had a lot of birds, and one of them was a vulture. And I don't remember her name, but I just felt such compassion for her. I looked at her as, trying to see within myself what in me that I perceived as ugly, and what did I need to do to clean that up. And so I started to look at the vulture in a whole new way. I just really respect them. And honestly, the more I sat with that vulture that day and just, was looking at her and observing her and watching her, she actually sort of came to be cute to me in my eyes. But I think it's a great lesson of, again, the vulture is about cleaning things up. And what we perceive as bad or negative or ugly within us, if we can get to the core reason of why that is, we come to see ourselves in a different, more beautiful, loving way. And that's kind of how I see Vulture in relationship to the land in between. So let me take a look here at my notes. I wrote that, Vulture surveys the land below, and it continues to circle until it's called upon to swoop down and clean up what needs cleaning up, what needs clearing out. So also I wrote that, I can't read my notes here. I write so sloppy when it's coming so fast. I just write really sloppy, so bear with me here. Oh, okay. So the vulture spirit, just kind of how I said in that story I shared with you about the vulture that, I sat with, and the lesson and the teaching that I came to from that, we're being asked to look at our own personal lives and what it is that we need to clear out so that we can move forward from a better, cleaner way of thinking and being in the world. And that, man, there is no better time than what we are going through right now is to remember that this is what this is about, and to remember this is the higher perspective of everything that seems so ugly in our world. There is wisdom within that if we are willing to look at it. And I know it's not easy. There are some things that I still struggle with too, but I try to remember, I try to bring myself back to what is the higher perspective. And even if that means you have to be like the vulture and you have to circle for a while and you just have to be within all those different emotions and all those different feelings until you're willing to look at it and be okay with it and understand that there is a gift in those moments and those emotions and those feelings. So the land between, again, I look at the land in between, and, that we are aware of, I think many of us are aware of that we are in this space right now and that we are in a time of change. And this is what we have to work on. This in between that brings up a lot of fear, a lot of emotions, a lot of, things we may not want to look at. But that's what we're being asked to do. We're being asked to look at that, and we're being asked to clean that up. And so we can get more clarity. And so we can move together, no matter what side of the land you are on. We all have our work to do. And we're all doing it within that middle space so that when we have cleaned it up as much as we possibly can, we can walk together on this earth and come together in a more common ground and a mutual benefit for all, right? Oh, so the card, I know that can feel a little heavy, doesn't it? But it's all good. It's all good. And the card that was on the bottom when I had flipped the deck over from the Oracle of Seven Energies is a higher view. So I thought that just went so beautifully with the land between, and also, Vulture spirit, being that they circle so high in the sky before they come down and they do the cleanup that needs to be done. So that is the reading for the week. I hope that was helpful. And yeah, I feel like there's something I was missing. I think I was going to, I was going to read this one line for the land between, because I felt this was pertinent too, right at the beginning. You're in a process of a change. You're in a process of change. We all are. We're all in a process of change right now. And it says, you know that you were called to it and can no longer be who you were, but you aren't sure what the next experience of your life will be. So I think if we can remember the higher perspective again, just like that card was on the bottom of the deck, and just look how that card is so beautiful to me. And I guess when we remember, sometimes when we're in the stages of cleaning things up, it can feel really hard and it can feel like you want to quit and give up. But this card is such a beautiful reminder. And just look at how it's so illuminated that doing the hard work is worth it to get to this better space and better place, and that we can all get to that together. If we all, I believe this, I believe this in my heart, because it seems like nothing else has worked on this earth. It comes down to that each of us have to do our own work so that we can walk together to that new higher perspective and that common ground, and live in a world with just so much more peace. So again, I hope that was helpful, and I'll be back again next week. Have a great week, everyone. Bye bye.